Fearsome black peat swamps dominate this Indonesian coastline, sprawling a staggering 31,000 square miles. This is a place where lethal reptiles rule. Even the Sumatrans fear these deadly swamps, and few dare to venture in.
You are stranded out here. Making the right decisions is critical. Make a bad call and you're dead.
There's no way the pilot can land here, so my only option is to use a technique that is both fast and dangerous.
Fast roping like this is a technique of the special forces, and the way of getting soldiers down onto the ground is the fast way.
It's about a 50-foot drop, and it requires you hold your nerve.
And you've got no protection. All you've got is your hand holding on.
All I've got with me are a few basic survival tools. My camera crew will be coming with me.
Suddenly it is very, very quiet here. And this whole place just looks like it's dead and rotten. And it smells like it too.
In December 2004, the most devastating tsunami ever recorded smashed into the western coast of Sumatra.
3-meter high wave, 10-foot high wave would have raced through this. And this is why this place is all dead and rotting.
A tower of seawater rushed inland for over a mile, destroying everything in its path.
If you don't believe me that everything here is rotting, watch that.
Under my feet is a tangle of twisted logs and branches. Making progress in this is gonna be torturous.
This is real leg breaker terrain.
And if that happens out here, no one would hear you scream. My challenge is to get through this hell and then head east and inland towards higher ground and the jungle. But that means going deeper into the swamp. I've reached vegetation, but now I'm hemmed in by this pandanus reed. It's twice the height of me, packed tight together, and with leaves as sharp as a butcher's knife.
All of this here is just called black swamp. And you see why it's called this. Look at the colour of the water. Absolutely black. And that's just from all the vegetation that's rotting. You know, look at all this. It's like the sewer of the jungle. You know, all the dregs are draining through this place.
If you cover just 300 foot in an hour through the stinking stuff, you're doing well. The suction is something else. It's like wading through wet cement, and then suddenly I'm up to my neck in fetid water.
Trying to get my footing on this stuff. It suddenly like drops away really deep.
The humidity makes it even tougher. It's a punishing 90%. You can lose 2 litres of water in an hour, and not a drop of this disease-ridden stuff is drinkable.
And you know, it is pretty easy just to panic in a place like this, just because it is claustrophobic. You know, you're completely hemmed in by all of this stuff. But you just need to keep calm and take your time.
I'm working backwards, using my body weight to push through the reeds. They're crowded in on me, and it's the best way to keep a track of where you're heading.
What's hard in here is just trying to maintain your direction and not go round and round in circles. So I'm just looking back always and checking that my channel through is straight.
The smallest cut out here could mean trouble. Disease thrives in swamps. Infection would quickly set in, and trapped out here alone, that would be a death sentence. There's precious little to eat, so grab any opportunity you can.
And then look at this fella.
This centipede won't keep me going for long, but ounce for ounce, insects are packed with more protein than beef, the perfect survival food. These swamps crawl with danger. The most fearsome is the estuarine crocodile. There are said to be thousands around here. 17-foot monsters which lie in wait with just their eyes above the waterline. They attack with devastating speed and power. I wouldn't stand a chance.
What I don't like about this is that if I see one so slow just in this deep mud, yeah, it's just sucking at my legs. Crocs might like it, but I do not.
I'd be easy prey stuck in this mud. Crocs can swim at 18 miles an hour and bite with an awesome pressure of about 3,000 pounds per square inch. Only last year, 2 people were grabbed while washing clothes by the river. One was never found. The other was discovered decomposing under a log a week later. Crocs like to let flesh rot before returning to the carcass. But it's not just crocs I'm worried about. This swamp teems with over 60 species of reptiles. The guy I'm after has a vicious bite.
It's a lizard.
If it gets hold of me, it won't let go.
He give a nasty bite.
I'm trying to catch myself some food deep in the vast black peat swamps of Sumatra.
It's a lizard.
And what I'm after is putting up a hell of a fight.
I've got him. That's a monitor lizard.
Lizards here can be brutes, up to 9 foot long and with fearsome jaws.
Look at these claws. Man, those are sharp. If I've got him by the tail like this, he can't pull back on me. But he can bite, he'll give a nasty bite. I want to dispatch him. And yeah, that's him. There, just make sure. And these guys, they're edible. Probably pretty tough. Edible. That's a result. Looks like good high ground over there. And that means I can get out of this godforsaken swamp.
But this place is just riddled with dangers. Crocs, snakes, torrential downpours, and some of the most remote jungles on Earth. This is also tiger territory. They're the stealthiest of killers, and they're also nocturnal hunters. So I need fire and shelter before it gets dark. When you're in the jungle, play by its rules.
Really, the key to surviving in the jungle is not fighting this thing. Just trying to adapt to it and use it to work for you. Because if you know what you're doing here, you can not only survive in the jungle, you can really thrive on it. For me, I remember first time ever being in the jungle, just feeling quite claustrophobic because there's so much going on here. You're just hemmed in on all sides. But then the soldier said, he said, try not to concentrate on what's immediately around you, but try and look through the vegetation. And when you do that, you begin to pick out different shades of colour and light, and you can then read the contours of the land better.
The monitor lizard is way too tough to eat raw, so I'm going to find somewhere that I can make fire and cook it. This river clearing is perfect, plenty of fresh water, and when I've eaten I can follow it. It's my fastest and safest way out of here.
Try and find some firewood and start cooking this lizard. One of the best ways of getting dry tinder in the jungle when everything is so wet is just use a bit of dead bamboo. And even though this is really wet on the outside, once I get into it, underneath is then all this nice dry stuff.
All fires need 3 elements: tinder, kindling and wood.
This tinder takes a spark really nicely. What's going to be the hard bit, I know, is just getting all of this other wood just to coax into life.
This jungle is bang on the equator and the humidity is debilitating. The air is laden with moisture and it's almost at saturation point.
Everything here is just so wet and damp. You need to allow time for the little bit of flame down the bottom to dry out the rest of it. It's just there's nowhere harder to do this than in the jungle.
A bit of air and a bit of gentle coaxing and this fire will soon be ready for me to cook the lizard.
See how skinny it is when you lie like that. It's just all inside. But there is good meat here on the tail. One tail on the fire, and the skin will protect that, the meat inside. People often ignore the guts and the insides of these animals, but the liver here is good. Let's take him out, and you see the bile sac there, this green bit. You don't want to eat that. Take that off, but the rest of it is good. And while I'm waiting for that tail to cook, this liver will cook really fast. And liver's really good survival food, packed full of iron. It's also really vitamin and nutrient rich. And I really love it. But yum. And this is looking pretty well good to go. It's nice, yes, it's tough. But then again, so is this lizard.
The jungle can be punishing on your body, so use rest times to give yourself a once-over.
One of the things about jungle living that you just have to get used to is having permanently wet boots and feet. But really, if you've got boots that don't have little holes in them like jungle boots, you want to improvise. And if you just get a knife, stick it in, that will just let the water then drain out through there. And that's going to help stop you getting trench foot. And in the jungle, if your feet go, you're in a lot of trouble.
In this sweltering rainforest, it can take just hours for trench foot to set in. Blisters and open sores become gangrenous, then you'll be going nowhere. Following this river might be a lifesaver, but it could be a death trap. I'm following a Jungle River in Sumatra, facing a week of challenges to show you how to make it out alive from one of the world's toughest rainforests. It's the fastest route out, but it's rainy season, when as much as 2 inches can pour down in an hour.
This isn't looking too promising.
Water levels can rise 4 or 5 foot in less than 30 minutes. This river now has only one way to go: down.
You see the power of the water's really building up now here.
The steep slopes of this canyon are smothered in slimy moss and dense jungle. The quickest way out of here is to climb down.
Must be about a 40-foot drop straight down this. You see there's a huge amount of water going down it. In fact, I know what I can do. I reckon if I find myself a decent length of vine, I should be able to make a really simple like harness around myself. It's called rattan vine. It's one of the strongest in the jungle.
It's known as the cable of the jungle. It's tough and can grow to several hundred feet as it fights to get to the light in the forest canopy.
Flippy Dora! It's like somebody turned the shower on. It's just mad rain. Okay, get all of this. And the best way I can make a harness is just to make what's called a Thompson's knot. And if you find the end, what you do, take the end, stand on it, and then measure up to about your chest. And then you want 4 times that. And then in that, just put a really simple overhand knot. And then what you're left with is 2 loops each side. 2 and 2. You're well supported. 1 central point, 2 leg loops, and 2 good chest straps here. And as long as then this one holds, I'm good to go.
This trunk might look puny, but jungle trees have deep, long roots, so it should take my weight. It's a risky strategy. It's wet and slippery as ice, and the river is thundering down. One slip and the force of the water would smash you against the rocks.
Okay. Let's go, Chris. Get down this thing. It's making quite a lot of friction around the vine, around the tree. So it means I can lower my body weight quite comfortably. It's just slipping. And this thing's yanking at my neck. So let's get down. Definitely not as comfortable as normal climbing harness. I'm not going to be doing this again in a hurry. This starts at 3/4 of the way down, but eventually get another go. But I just got in at the side, and I'm on my own.
To survive means you have to take risks, but the jungle can be a very unforgiving place. But there are plenty of challenges still ahead, and I'm going to make a shelter up this tree. I've just fought my way down a waterfall deep in Sumatra, in one of the most uncharted rainforests in the world. Now my biggest challenge is the rain. It's rainy season and it is relentless, and it's hard not to let it get you down.
I think it's raining. God, I'm just completely drenched. That's probably why they call it a rainforest. One thing you learn very early on with jungle living is just to accept the rain. But during the day, you're just gonna get soaked. You just need to go with it. Because trying to fight this sort of rain, really in the jungle, is a losing battle.
But rain means fresh water, and there'll be plenty in the hollow of this bamboo. In the sweltering humidity of the jungle, you can shed around 4 pints of fluid and minerals every hour. If you don't top up, you'll get dehydrated. And if you're dehydrated, your chances of getting out alive plummet.
And that's beautiful water to drink. Filtered out through the ground into the bamboo. And listen to the difference now between that full of water and that empty.
It's getting dark. On the equator, night falls in the blink of an eye, and I've got about an hour before it's pitch black. I need to set up camp, and what the orangutans do is build their nests high up in the trees, well out of the way of predators like tigers. That's what I'm going to do.
Just look at this tree. Look at the size of this. And these fig trees just grow absolutely massive. But I've never seen one this big. And actually what the orangutans will do, they'll often build their nest high up in the branches and the limbs. But look, you can see there's like a huge bit of deadfall that's got lodged in between. I just wonder actually whether that might not be a bad place to spend the night. And the first thing you'll often do with a shelter, instead of spending hours building it, is just to use whatever nature's given you. And this, I think, might work. But I'm going to need some sort of covering above me, otherwise it's going to be like sleeping in a swimming pool. Making just a really quick emergency shelter, you're not going to do much better than using these banana leaves. Look at the size of them. Absolutely huge. You only need a couple of those and you're going to be covered. Here it comes. Actually, there's some bananas up that one. Let's see if we can get it there.
These wild bananas are known as famine food.
Let's give them a try, see what's inside. Oh. Not kind of like you imagine bananas. Pretty bitter, but loads of them, and that means loads of energy. That's what I need when it's like this. Raining, hard work, and a shelter to build before it's night time. A few more of these.
These liana vines are perfect for hauling up materials for my shelter, and there's no shortage of them. They make up almost half the entire jungle canopy.
Kind of running out of light here. I just want to get this finished before it's completely dark. Already now, I'm quite well protected from the rain. A few more, and I'll be done. I'm actually quite nicely cocooned in here. These banana leaves are keeping the rain off me, and I'm beginning to warm up. If I just get this little fire going, that will round it off.
Getting a fire going in a soaking wet jungle is not easy, but it's worth persevering, and it can be a huge morale boost.
That's a fire going. That's nice. It's so nice just to be able to get out of that rain and begin to dry out of it, especially my feet. One of the real pleasures in the jungle is taking your boots off at the end of the day, wringing your socks out and your feet. And these probably don't look very pretty or wrinkly like prunes, but at least I can now dry them out and dry these socks out as well. If I had to sum jungle living up in one action, it would be that, wringing your socks out. And I know that up this tree I'm out of danger of any of the bigger animals. Well, I seem to be sharing it with quite a few creepy crawlies, but apart from those, I feel quite good up here.
And hopefully I'll get some rest, because tomorrow I'm gonna need it.
Look at this guy. It's a mangrove snake, and these are dangerous snakes.
I've just spent the night 40 foot up in a giant strangler fig tree, safe from predators that prowl the forest floor of the Sumatran jungle. I'm having to use all my skills to show you how to make it out alive. But first, breakfast. This tree's hollow trunk hasn't just sheltered me, it's home to a whole host of beasties.
See that? Little beetle larva. In fact, not very little, quite a big beetle larva. But this one is edible, and that's my breakfast. And hold him by the head. And it has that texture, cold custard, and as if someone's put some rotting fish in it and then left it overnight. Here we go. Look at this millipede I found, and it's quite a monster of one. But you can't actually eat this guy. If you smell him, he has that smell of almonds, which is a good sign that it's one of these millipedes that when it's threatened it secretes this substance, has a bit of cyanide in it, so you wouldn't want to eat this. So put him back. Well, this banana leaf roof did an alright job, kept most of the rain off me, but it was pretty torrential at times. But I'm going to get a last bit of warmth out of this fire. Have a good look around above the jungle canopy, enjoy the blue sky before I'm back down there into the jungle again for today.
The rain has let up for now, but it won't be long before it lashes down again. In just 2 months, Sumatra gets the same amount of rain as the United States gets in a year, and the jungle here harbours some nasty surprises.
Whoa. Wait there. Look at this guy. It's a mangrove snake. And these are dangerous snakes. Let's see if we can get him out of the tree.
He's perfectly camouflaged, but one bite from this snake could spell disaster.
When you're handling a snake, you've always got to watch what's going on with its head, especially when it's poisonous. Okay, let's have him off. Come on then, off you come. Okay. And pin his head down. Okay, we got him. That's a beautiful snake, but pretty poisonous if you get it wrong. But it's definitely a mangrove snake. But what this will do, if it bites you, it'll inject this like cytotoxic venom straight into you, like numb, paralyze your arm for a few days. But you can eat this. I just need to take its head off. You still need to be pretty careful with this, even if the head's off. And you can actually see its mouth trying to close. Amazing, even though it's been decapitated. But it's always good practice just to bury your head like this. The venom in that can stay active for some time. But it's still wriggling around. But you know, a snake like this, you can eat straight like that. But, you know, for raw meat, not bad.
Within minutes, it's raining, and I'm drenched to the skin again.
Check this out.
But this impenetrable jungle suddenly has something to lift my spirits.
Look at the colour of it, it's just incredible.
This is worth exploring. Sumatra's jungle is scarred with deep pools like this, topped up by the torrential rain. The water is rich in minerals, which makes it this brightest of blue. That means fish, and fish means food.
This place really is just amazing. And it looks like it's probably an old volcanic vent that came up here. It's probably what all the white is on the bottom, the old calcium deposits. There's also loads of fish down here. Let's see if I can get myself some of those.
First, I need a good length of vine.
People often think you only catch fish using a rod and line, but there are loads of other ways of doing it. And what I can do with these is use my trousers.
So a big old knot on each end. And then I need a way of keeping
The top of the waist open, and that's where this rattan vine comes in. And fish really are one of the jungle godsends. Loads of energy, loads of vitamins as well. I'm hoping just my pair of trousers is going to catch some for me.
This is a technique I learned from a friend in the Special Forces.
Get some of the sand I've put in the pocket.
But like all fishing, it depends on a bit of luck and a lot of patience.
What I can do is just sprinkle some of the grit and some of the sand and drop that in. And hopefully the fish are going to be inquisitive enough to come and try and have a nibble. And then the idea is I can just snag them. The thing is, I can tell already now this rain's picked up. It's making this job of fishing a bit of a losing battle, to be honest. What's happening with all the rain, the fish are going to be heading deep. All the fish have just gone. But you know, sometimes that's just life. And you gotta just smile back. This weather just feels like it's
permanently against me at the moment. And this torrential rain has been like this for ages. And it's just making everything a nightmare. And I'm struggling to catch any food. Permanently wet and cold. Fire lighting is a nightmare. But man, you know, that's jungle living for you. And if it was easy, everyone would just live in this ruddy place. But at the moment, it just feels like a bit of a struggle.
I'm soaked to the skin, hungry and exhausted, and the ground under my feet is every bit as lethal as the jungle around me. I'm in Western Sumatra, battling with one of the most dense and remote jungles on Earth. Now I'm heading east for higher ground. That's going to be my best chance of finding any signs of civilization.
Reaching this clear canyon is about the first time I'll be able to see the sun and the sky. The rest of the time it's just hidden under all of this jungle canopy. But it's late afternoon now, sun's heading that way, which means west over there, east still this way.
By scrambling up to this ridge, I'll get a better vantage point and hopefully be able to see where to head next.
Come on, I'm almost at the top of this ridge. Let's just get there.
But it's yet more thick and impenetrable jungle. It's hard to feel and see my way through, and the ground is every bit as treacherous. One lapse of concentration could spell disaster.
Get on that. Back. Man, look down that. And look through there. Paddy field. And people as well. But man, that is a proper sized drop. Whew. There are a load of roots running out of this tree down the face, and you can see just go down a little bit of the way. See how far these run. Might well be able to get down here. Hold on.
It's a 120-foot drop, but I can use the roots to work my way down.
But look, it's amazing, this lattice work coming straight out of the face. The key with this stuff is just try not to look down too much. Just look at the vines that I'm holding and make sure that I'm picking good, strong, living ones. But at the moment, these are running nice.
This sandstone face is completely smooth. There's no chance of any foothold. My only hope is that the vines will hold.
Kind of committed now to this vine. And actually look, I can wedge my left leg between the vine and the wall. That's giving me my friction, so I'm not taking all on my hands. Yeah, look, it's running. It's running all the way down to that little ledge. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do when I get there. But I just need to get down to that point. Whew. If I'm trying to keep my hands just at shoulder height or below, it means the blood doesn't drain out of them and I'll have a bit better muscle endurance. If I start letting my hands go up here, it gets much more tiring.
Don't look down, don't think back, just keep in the moment.
Man, they're burning. about 2/3 of the way down on this little ledge. You see how crumbly this all is. But that's the end of this vine. I need to try and find another one to get the last bit down. If I'm just reach across this one, I should be able to go for it. Okay. Just go a bit. Oh. Okay, I don't want to hang around on this one. This is not as thick. Oh man. Oh, I'm seriously running out of strength then. Have a look at that. Okay, I gotta cross this river. And those guys in the paddy field, they've seen me now. They think I'm completely bonkers Englishman. Okay, let's get over.
The black swamps and jungles of Sumatra have stretched me to the limits of my physical and mental endurance. But it's a challenge I'll never forget. Reaching these paddy fields means one thing for me. I can finally head home to my family.